Hi everyone, it's Mora Tara. We're now going to discuss when the Sanhedrin moved to the third location. As we know, the third location is when the Sanhedrin moved to Yavne. Let's discuss for a second where we are in history right now. There's great tension in Eretz Yisrael at this time. Our enemy, the Romans, are trying to destroy the Jewish people, and unfortunately, they succeed. This is not a very good time period for the Jewish people as they're under the Roman rule. But the people and the Jewish people were not all united, as you will see here. Now at this time period, there were really two different opinions. There was a great argument, two different sides of what the Jewish people should do at this time. The first side said, we should fight. We should fight to our death. We shouldn't give up on our Jewish people right now. We need to fight against the Romans. Unfortunately, if we made the decision to fight against the Romans, that would mean all of our people would die. They were way too strong for us. So not everyone felt like this was the best decision. There were people that thought we should negotiate with them. Let's negotiate with them. Let's make a plan with them. Let's surrender to them in a way that maybe we won't all die. There was a great rabbi living at this time named Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was one of these rabbis that wanted to negotiate with the Romans. He said, you know what? Why don't we just save what could be saved? Why don't we figure out a way that we don't have to fight to our death? That doesn't seem like the greatest idea. But Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai knew that those that wanted to fight would never let him out of the city to meet with the Romans. They would never let him try to negotiate any plans because they were at the other side of the argument. They felt, let's just fight. What's the point in meeting with any officials of the Romans? Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai realized if he wanted to save the Jewish people, he needed to do something bold. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai pretended he was very sick. A few days later, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yehoshua, great rabbis at the time, announced his death, the death of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. A great procession followed in the coffin until the gates of Yerushalayim. The Jewish guards at the gates, of course, making sure that no one would leave that was supposed to stay inside the city. They checked inside the coffin, they looked around, everything was okay, and they said that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's coffin could leave the city with just its closest followers. Remember, the gate was locked, but they said, you know what? For a big rabbi, you can go and bury him. Here's a picture of his coffin, or a coffin. You can go and bury him, but only with his closest followers. We're not just going to let everyone out of the city right now. As soon as they reached a safe enough distance from the gates of the Jewish guards, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai jumped out the coffin. He ran towards the Roman camp, and when he was there, he demanded to speak to the guards at the General Vespasian's tent. He wanted to speak to the General Vespasian to try to negotiate a plan. So what did Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai do? He jumped. He was inside his coffin, pretending to be dead. He jumped out of his coffin to speak to General Vespasian. Remember here, he's speaking to a Roman general. And when he walked into the Roman general, he said, "Peace to you, your majesty, King of Rome." And Vespasian said at once, "You deserve to die twice." And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said, "What?" He said, "First of all, you called me king. I'm not a king. I'm just a general. And second of all, if I'm a king and you're going to call me a king, then why didn't you come to be respectful of me sooner? Why are you only coming to pay respects now?" And Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai answered that Vespasian must be a king because Yerushalayim would only fall into the hands of royalty. Someone good must be taking over Yerushalayim. To the second question, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai replied, he said, "My people are very divided. Some of them would definitely want to kill me for what I'm doing." because they know that I'm trying to contact you. Right then, a messenger of Vespasian, the general of Rome, walked in and said, "Your Majesty, Caesar Nero, the king at the time, has died, and they have proclaimed that you are now the Emperor Vespasian." Vespasian turned to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai and said, "Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, you are so wise." He says, "Before I go back to Rome, to rule my people there, because Caesar Nero has died, I will grant you any request that you want." Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says, "I do have a request. The request I have is, Tain li Yavne v'chachameha." He says, "Give me Yavne, the village of Yavne, and give me its scholars." He wanted permission to move the Sanhedrin to Yavne. And of course, after such an amazing conversation, Vespasian granted the request, and the Sanhedrin was moved from Yerushalayim to Yavne. This flourishing Beit HaMikdash that used to be the center of our world, unfortunately, turns into a destroyed and burnt building, a destroyed and burnt community under the Roman rule. But at least we had a place that the center of Judaism could move to. At least the Sanhedrin that could make and enforce laws could move to Yavne, because Vespasian granted Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai his wish of Tain li Yavne v'chachameha. So just to review over here, Lama hukam Yavne. The word hukam means established. Why was the city of Yavne established? Kidei shehayehudim yachlu livroach sham la'achar chorban Beit HaMikdash. Why was the city of Yavne established? So the Jewish people were able livroach, they were able to run there. Acharei chorban Beit HaMikdash. After the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, we had somewhere to go. We had somewhere that we could live, somewhere to establish our courts. What else happened when the Beit HaMikdash, as you see up here in the picture, was destroyed? Well, our main way to speak to Hashem at that point, our main way to serve Hashem at that point, was korbanot. And when the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, as you see, lo yihiyu od korbanot. When the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed, there were no more korbanot. What was going to be the solution to this? Tefillah. It was in Yavne, when the Sanhedrin met in Yavne, that is when Tefillah was established in the place of korbanot. We are going to discuss that more when we start learning in the Mishnah and start learning about Tefillah.